USDA's latest supply and demand report called for some pretty big yields this year for both corn and soybeans. And ask Illinois farmers and agronomists, they'll tell you it's off to a solid start. Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan reports they have high hopes for historic yields.
Planting 2023 is nearing the finish line in Illinois.
The weather was fit and ground was fit, so when that's ready to go, you better be ready to go too and put it in the ground.
We finished with our corn about a week ago, and then we switched to beans.
USDA says 84% of the corn is planted across Illinois as of last Sunday. That's 21 points ahead of average and 35 points quicker than the same time last year. And 77% of the soybean crop is already planted, 32 points above average and 43 points quicker than last year's pace.
We did plant soybeans first, but I mean just a few short days later when the soil temps started rising, we got both planters rolling and had beans and corn going at the same time.
Rob DeFau started planting soybeans toward the end of April. Typically, he wouldn't start until after Mother's Day.
Everybody's trying to push the envelope a little earlier, and I guess the beans are a little more forgiving than corns.
It's a trend Farm Journal agronomist Ken Ferry says is growing in popularity.
Early planting of beans is something that's really kind of evolved over the last 5 years or so. We're probably definitely crashing records on the amount of beans that we were able to stick in early.
Before the rain the past couple weeks, it was getting dry, with Ferry saying some farmers were holding off to plant until they had rain. But now, with the majority of the soybeans seen in early planting this year, Ferry is optimistic about yield potential.
That means that we're going to have, even our fullest season beans are going to be able to pre-solstice flower for us. So I think the potential for our soybean crop here is really looking good to have this many acres planted early.
So what exactly does that mean in terms of yield? Ferry says their data is promising.
In our trials, as we look at the early planting, you get more nodes, of course, going before the solstice. But if you get flowering ahead of that solstice, 7 to 10 bushel is definitely not out of the reach.